Thank you for 77,000
How's it going, everybody? Rolana the Twin Moon Knight here. Now, I thought that it would be a brilliant idea for me to talk about Asmongold, more specifically his weird takes about the Elden Ring DLC, because, well, once you believe it, it doesn't seem like even the titans among us are completely immune to having massive skill issues and then proceeding to blame the game for the skill issues that they have. And, well, once you believe it, the Asmongold, or as I like to call him, I don't know, has it been 30 seconds yet? I'll still wait just a little bit longer, just in case. Because I have a funny nickname for him that I'm going to be calling him for the rest of this video that I already did within my livestream these exact same videos. And we're mainly going to be covering two particular videos. A livestream clip in which he bitches about the DLC, and the first 10 minutes of a video titled, Elden Ring DLC Doesn't Deserve This, with a quarter dislikes, which is hilarious to witness. But yeah, without any further ado, let's take a look at Asmongold's, well, livestream clip here.
Are you done with the game? I might give it maybe another day, like, I don't know. But, like, I think I'm pretty much done, yeah.
Okay, listen, I just simply have to state it right now, but why does Asmongold just straight up look like a withering corpse in the chair? Maybe it's just me, but he just straight up does not look natural in that setting whatsoever.
Yeah, I am. I think that the DLC is too hard for it to be fun. Like, when every single attack combo, like, stuns you, and then you're locked into an animation, and then you get insta-killed, I just, like, I can beat it, and of course I could beat it.
No, I want you guys to just pay attention to everything that he just stated right there. You get stun locked, you get locked into an animation, and then instantly die. Allow me to just quickly point out that the best way that you can quite literally just avoid any of this is quite literally just by getting the fuck good. You won't get stun locked if you pay attention to how the boss functions. You won't get stun locked if you know what in the hell you're actually supposed to do. You won't get stun locked and you won't get knocked over nearly as much if you pay attention to the boss's patterns. That is literally how every Souls game since time immemorial has fucking worked, and apparently we have idiots like Asmongold over here literally bitching about a base function.
But I just don't really want to. I don't want to sit through 100 attempts or 50 attempts on every boss where it's like you have to dodge like a 5 attack.
Now, of course, unfortunately, it just cuts off right there, but I think I can take a wild guess as to what that next sentence was going to be, where he basically just bitches about the fact that, well, some bosses are just a little bit more aggressive than he would like. Motherfucker has not fought Malenia, and it shows. I just hate to break it to you. Listen, if you fought Malenia, you can at least deal with semi-aggressive bosses relatively easily. If I was able to defeat Rolana, I mean, mind you, I ended up dying at the exact same time she died, but you get the point. I still managed to beat her, and it was probably one of the most fun bosses in the entire DLC so far. It's just, I don't really seem to understand these kinds of idiots, and I can probably take a wild guess that as Asmongold over here is probably, like, not even on any, like, New Game Plus file for this one. He's probably starting it off on a relatively fresh save, where he's just kind of going in with, like, his base-leveled character on whatever, like, base-level file that he currently has. Meanwhile, someone like myself, who is having a lot of fun with the DLC, is a madman playing on, like, New Game Plus fucking 7, and getting smacked around 7 ways to Sunday, and I'm having the time of my goddamn life with it. That is besides the point. That's the first clip right there of Asmongold displaying his immense skill issue, but trust me, if you think that it gets any better with the actual YouTube video, trust me, it fucking doesn't. It just gets worse, so prepare thyself.
I'd like to begin this video by sharing a quote from none other than Hidetaka Miyazaki.
Oh, the guy.
He spoke to CNET back in June 17th, 2024, and he had the following to say about Shadow of the Erdtree's difficulty. For certain bosses, Miyazaki set the challenge target for players who have tackled a majority of the base game.
There's probably going to be a lot of skipping around because, unfortunately, Asmongold is like one of those generic, like, you know, reaction fucking streamers that likes to sit there like a rotting corpse and stare blankly at the screen while just mindlessly nodding along and not really saying much of fucking anything for like solid minute intervals.
DLC, particularly where bosses and enemies are concerned, to be a bit too ridiculous. If
I think that there's also a huge component of people that are unhappy about, for example, there's a lot of people that don't like the Erdtree upgrade system. They don't like the idea that they have to run around and randomly kill things and explore and like just do random stuff in order to like progress their character. Like that's one criticism, but the bigger criticism than that is actually performance.
Well, I think I can probably kind of just quickly debunk at least maybe both of these points right here, because allow me to just point out here. The Erdtree fragments and the Revered Spirit Ashes, which I think is the Sekiro-style leveling system that exists within this DLC, was quite literally stated to be a thing that would exist, like, I think literally a couple weeks after like, the first reveal trailer was actually, like, you know, launched. When that trailer was released, an article came out where they had an interview with fucking Miyazaki, and he stated that, yeah, there's going to be stuff like this in this DLC. If you don't like it, then don't fucking worry about it. And here we have idiots like Asmongold over here, apparently fucking complaining about the fact that the Sekiro-style leveling system in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC that was advertised to exist in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC exists in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Like, I just don't understand it. And whenever it comes to performance, I mean, I guess I can kind of agree with that one. I mean, I've run into quite a few different weird hiccups whenever it comes to just, like, ever since the, you know, DLC update actually came out, where, for some reason, it just would not let me actually launch into the fucking game properly unless I decide to verify the game's files, but that's only happened, like, maybe once so far, and you know, aside from that, there hasn't really been any kind of, like, genuine problems, okay? Like, there hasn't been too many frame hiccups or anything along those lines on my end. I mean, the thing is that with performance, it unfortunately exists, at least to my knowledge, with every single Soulsborne game. Like, it's not just exclusive to Elden Ring, so of course there's going to be some small performance issues, and unfortunately, I don't know if FromSoft will ever be able to properly address those. I hope that they do at some point, because it does kind of get a little bit annoying at some parts, but of course, you know, after, like, maybe I'd say 30 seconds into the game, any kinds of performance problems start to really die off, and it starts to run about as smooth as ass cheeks.
Now, I think that, like, it's all three. They're capping. I'm just saying, like, that's what people are saying in the reviews. I read the reviews, that's what people are saying.
I find it funny, like, right here, he spots a chatter of his basically stating, oh, they're capping, and he immediately switches tunes and states, oh, well, that's not just me saying it, that's just other people stating it. It's not my opinion, you know, or anything along those lines. My brother in Christ, Asmongold, don't try to cover yourself like this. We already know that you can't seem to have a good take to save your fucking life, so just fucking own it at this point.
Final boss in particular, a lot of people are saying, man, what the hell, incredibly tough. Right here we have an article.
Oh my god, who could have fucking expected? The final boss of a DLC, especially a FromSoft DLC, is going to be difficult? As expected from a fucking FromSoft DLC? Wow, who could have fucking expected? It's almost as if the sky is usually blue whenever it's daytime.
From news outlet Forbes that kind of compiles some of the quotes we have seen from reviews, saying things like the gameplay makes the game hard to recommend, spastic bosses with jerky roll catch movements, and a plethora of...
I do think that things like roll catching and delay attacks, in my opinion, it changes the way that it feels fighting the boss. It makes it feel like you're not fighting against the boss, you're fighting against the developer, because it's designed in a way to explicitly punish certain types of player behavior, and it can be frustrating to do that.
Well, you see, once again, that is a thing that exists within pretty much any FromSoft game. You literally have to pay... It's quite literally just a game of paying attention and making sure that you understand the dance that's being, you know, displayed before you. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know the steps, then you're gonna die. A lot. Roll catching and whatnot, that's just you poorly timing shit, and you have to work on things. If you think that it's punishing you based on how spastic you yourself are, then maybe try to calm the hell down and pay the fuck attention. If you genuinely think that bosses are apparently just, like, you know, screwing you over, maybe it's actually just you that's screwing yourself over by not paying attention to what it is that you're even fighting. I'd say that probably in terms of, like, all the main bosses that I've at least fought, and I'm mainly counting, like, stuff that, you know, anything that has, like, a boss health bar, or at least like a major obstacle within like the DLC itself, I'd say. You know, I'd probably venture to say that probably only about like one out of maybe like the 4 main ones I've encountered so far have really just been absolutely atrocious. And I think we can all take a wild guess, especially if we've played enough of the DLC. I think we could probably take a wild fucking guess as to which boss I'm talking about. You know him, you hate him, it's called fucking Commander Gaius, and I hate him. I quite literally, I was looking up a guide on how to beat this guy. First thing that came up when I searched up his name was Commander Gaius Cheese, so at least I'm not alone in knowing that this boss just sucks ass. But so far in terms of like the other bosses, and funnily enough, one of those bosses is actually going to be brought up in this video, they've all been relatively fine. They've ranged from, you know, kind of stupidly easy to, Jesus fucking Christ, this is some of the most fun that I've had, and yet I'm getting my ass kicked. Like, again, I'm playing this on New Game Plus 7. I want you guys to know this. I'm playing this DLC while they're at, like, maximum fucking capacity. This DLC was not meant to be handled with a base-level character in the Shadow Realm on New Game Plus 7, and I am having the time of my life.
Physically
It's
nonsensical.
the same thing as, like, input reading is... Do I like input reading? No, actually I don't. I think that input reading is stupid. And I think that input reading would be better if it wasn't as instantaneous. Because, like, you can look at the logic of input reading, is that the NPC has its own AI, and the AI will determine what your character is doing, right? So, logically, it would make sense that if you were healing, the Crucible Knight would immediately go try to attack you. But I think the problem is that it's so immediate that it feels artificial.
Well, wouldn't you believe it, but it is artificial. Artificially created by you. As I mentioned before, that's probably just you poorly timing your heals. I have never once had an issue of, like, a boss instant cashing an attack the moment that I start a healing animation. And the only times in which that has happened is usually with, like, I guess more player-styled NPCs. But of course, that's to be expected. But so far, whenever I end up getting hit by a boss in the middle of, like, you know, me healing or something like that, it's usually because I'm a dumbass and I fucking poorly timed shit, and, like, the enemy is, like, winding up an attack at, like, the exact same fucking time and I wasn't paying attention. Like, you have to wait for openings for stuff like this. You have to pay attention. You have to know how to dodge. You have to know how to roll. If you die, guess what? That's because you still need to learn.
Right now, even with 60 vigor, you get by-shotted by nearly every enemy that's not pure fodder.
I think that's true, too. There are a lot of, like, random mobs that do an insane amount of damage. Like, it's crazy how much damage they do. And if you could...
Well, I think I could probably take a wild guess as to which ones he's talking about. He's probably talking about those giant fucking, like, torch giants or whatever those things are. I don't know what they're called. I like to call them furnace golems because, I don't know, that just sounds cool. Of course they're going to smack you around. They're giant fucking golems. Do you really think that they would hit you like a pea shooter? Are you high? Are you stupid?
Really wanted to like this DLC, but those enemies and boss fights are the worst parts of the whole game. I'm genuinely surprised whoever playtested this approved the Golden Hippo boss fight.
The Golden Hippo boss fight is terrible.
Oh. This is going to be a fun one, isn't it?
It's probably, I would say... I think it's the worst fight that I've done in the DLC. And the reason why, and this is the problem, right, is that the reason why it's bad has nothing to do with the difficulty. It's bad because of the way that the character moves. Like, basically, the main reasons, there's two reasons why the fight is bad. Number one, the boss is too big. Number two, the room is too small, and you get put up against a wall constantly, and you're fighting against the camera.
Oh boy, there's a lot to unpack right here. Well, allow me to just quickly point out here, and it's probably going to be in the gameplay footage here, but this is literally me beating the fucking Golden Hippo on, like, my third or so attempt. It did not take me long to defeat the Golden Hippo. You want to know why? It's because as Assman Bronze over here is bullshitting all of his problems here. You're not fighting against the camera whenever it comes to the Golden Hippo boss fight. The arena is not that fucking small, you idiot, and the boss is not as big as he's trying to make it out to be. In terms of arenas, I'd probably say that the ratio between size of the arena and size of the boss for the Golden Hippo is perfectly fucking fine, and I genuinely cannot understand why Assman Bronze over here is literally looking at a Forbes article and going like, yeah, Golden Hippo is bad. Golden Hippo bad. Like, this man is literally just like a fucking puppet at this point. This man is just literally a fucking blindly nodding puppet. I don't know what else to say other than just, dude, can you just, like, take a minute to go outside or something? Like, I don't really know what else to say. Like, this is like the most this man has quite literally had his brain turned to fucking mush to the point where it's almost like a Miyazaki poison swamp inside of his skull at this point. It is ridiculous. I think we're just gonna end the video off right here. Again, the video itself is like almost an hour long. Do you really think I'm gonna make this at like a 4-hour long dissertation? Hell no. It's probably just more of the same, and honestly, I can't stomach to watch any more of Assman Bronze's content for any longer than 5 minutes to begin with. So I think we're just gonna end it off right there. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. That's very well appreciated. Leave a comment down below what you thought about the video, what you want me to talk about next, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more content such as this. Also, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and join the Discord server down below if you feel like doing so. And yeah, anyways guys, it's been Sandy, and have yourselves a nice day.